I was pretty sick when we emptied this place out in '99. It was the first part of '99, and there was no cattle. And I was so heartbroken and didn't know what to do. And so then I finally, after healing up a bit, I decided, well, why don't we just get in the meat business and sell meat instead of livestock? And it's turned out to be something you thought was terrible, turned into something really good. This is this year's calf crop right here. These are the Wagyu Angus calves. Our animals never get on a truck. They're born, raised right here. So you save that stress that a typical animal would have going from a feedlot to a slaughterhouse. They come in to the chute, we dispatch them, and we hoist them over the blood pit right here. We bleed them, we remove the head, lay them on a skinning cradle where we remove the hide, and then we hoist them, remove the guts. They move on down where we split the carcass and do a final inspection and an antimicrobial spray before they go into the carcass cooler. Much of this goes on to Ranch Foods Direct in Colorado Springs, where we'll take the liver. We got a lot of customers that like liver. We've got a product up there that's a ground beef heart liver blend that's very popular among moms, especially trying to get the higher nutrients into their kids. So that helps move a lot of the organ meats. And then we've also got a pet food. And as you can see, the pigs are across the road. They walk over, and that's it. And we think this is a model that's got to get replicated. I mean, from a carbon perspective, we've got to be very, very negative. I mean, we don't have the transport on live animals. We're rotationally grazing our pastures. But we're trying to add all the value we can and keep as much of it here on the farm as we can, as far as slaughter waste, nutrients, and all of that to rebuild our soils. This is so much the opposite of the industrial model. You can't get further from it. But it's a feedlot. I mean, people think, well, feedlots are bad because we're feeding corn to livestock and they're confined. But the problem is, in this climate, you've got a 120-day growing season. What are you going to do the rest of the year when you don't have grass? Well, you got to feed them if you care about the welfare of an animal, and if you also care about the quality of the food that you're producing. But we can produce really high-quality animals here, cattle, pigs, whatever it may be, and feed the local resources that we produce right here. Hey, Terrence.
Hey, I made that prime rib.
How was it?
This one I made.
Wow. During COVID, we never missed a lick. I mean, the shelves were empty in the big box grocery stores in Colorado Springs, and our shelves never, ever went empty. We had the livestock, we just simply had to get them through, and we showed how resilient and how strong this local-based model can be. What we do here is, rather than slaughter, we just process the carcass. And if you're hauling carcasses, you're hauling 36% essentially less weight than you would have on them with a live animal.
We take pride in what we do, and we like to show everybody what we do. The customer comes in, hey, come back there, put on a coat, we'll show you. This is where you get your chuck, your short ribs, your ribeye. But one of the ways that you can tell the quality of the product is on top here, that's the actual ribeye. Inside, the muscle tissue is actually breaking down, and it's actually going to turn out super, super tender. These are those front quarters, but they already took off the chuck. You can just see how good of quality our beef is. All that marbling, I mean, that's a chuck, and that looks like a ribeye. It's very rare that somebody can come in here and break down an animal and cut it from start to finish from the rail. And where at big plants, they're on an assembly line all day. These guys actually are creating these skill and the trade that is a dying trade. Over here I got Steven. He's cutting for retail and custom orders. We do all of it from start to finish. If we need stuff for Steve to cut into, we got to break it off the cow. So that's what makes us unique from anybody else. We don't use box beef. We break it right off the cow.
But this gives us the access to the consuming market, which most people don't have. I go over to the Fillmore store, which is our main store. Anytime I go in there, there's a new customer.
Always get big.
And I say, well, what brought you to Ranch Foods Direct? And they're saying it's an awareness of where my food comes from and the quality. We're seeing a lot of growth. And in fact, the Ranch Foods Direct retail is really the savior. If we had to depend on the wholesale market, which now is essentially dead for small plants, because of all the cheap imports that come in and the predatory nature of that wholesale market. If we'd have had to depend upon that, we would have been out of business. The thing that has saved our company is our 2 retail locations. And when you build that retail location, you've got a place now for other people like us to sell things. Maybe it's a guy making soap that uses the tallow that we produce, or the coffee roaster down the street now having more retail access through our stores. And so it's all about rebuilding that local regional food access for not only Ranch Foods Direct and Cattle Crate Cattle Company, but for a lot of other people that are producing in the communities. One of the really great things we were able to do here is Luis, who has worked with Ranch Foods now for 14 years and was our cut room manager before Billy, had a taco business that was really good. And this is his taco place right over here, El Chapin.
We are so excited because we get to use his meat in our tacos. We can give people like better quality. They go to the market and then they come outside and get tacos.
Well, Ranch Foods Direct is an important model to look at because it connects to the consumer. A huge problem in rural America is we've lost our share of the consumer food dollar due to those powerful middlemen like Cargill, Tyson, JBS, you know, the big companies that stand between us and the consumer. I think it's a myth that we need to scale. We've got to get away from that and feed our communities. And so what I would rather see happen is we would need to replicate a Ranch Foods Direct model. I think it's been one of the major human follies ever in history that we would think that we're going to feed the world from a single or a handful of corporations. It's not resilient, it's not dependable, it's not sustainable, it's not safe, it's abusive to people and abusive to animals in those models that they've created through this factory farming, so-called feed the world model. So I did make a shift. I shifted big time from an industrial mindset of throughput, maximum return on investment, to one that I just thought, wait a minute, we're depleting our soils, we're mining our water, we're polluting our air. I mean, we're spraying everything. We've got to stop it. It simply cannot last. It cannot feed, you cannot feed the world by destroying the very soil that you grow your food in.